Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I've been away from the channel for quite a while. I'm hoping to get back into it pretty soon, and today I want to start by going over Worldwide Developers Conference from Apple. For those unfamiliar with this is their big event that they usually do around this time of the year, where they talk about the software that will be coming out in the fall, with the releases of the new iPhones, iPads, Macs, and Watch. Sometimes they do the Apple TV or any other hardware announcements that they haven't talked about yet. So I'm going to try to keep this pretty light and quick. I'll just touch some points that I think are important to most users and not just enthusiasts such as myself or other YouTubers that are much bigger than I am that have a lot more experience with this kind of stuff. But I just want to start with iOS 14. There were rumors it was going to be called iPhone OS 14, but it seems they're just going with iOS 14 for now. I think that's fine personally. They made the change with iOS 7 to condense it down to iOS. Before that, it used to be called iPhone OS. So from that point, iOS 14, the big takeaway is an app library. So what that'll allow you to do is some of us have like 7 pages of apps and we don't usually go through them. And so this will be a new way to basically organize all your apps into a single page by categories. That's pretty helpful. I think a lot of people will enjoy using that. I'm definitely looking forward to using it, even though I'm a pretty organized person. And I think the other big takeaway would be widgets. So this will be implemented similar to how Android has been doing for several years. You'll be able to have it on your home screen wherever you want. It won't just be a screen off to the left side of your main home screen. So I think that's really great. The next big thing would be from iPadOS. If you have an Apple Pencil, they're making it now even more usable. So you'll be able to write instead of type in certain areas. And you can do shape conversions as well. So if you're writing a notes or something, you can hold it over your square and it'll actually create a square shape instead of having, squiggly lines. I think they're making a few interesting changes to iPadOS, but nothing really to talk about right now. The other thing is they're kind of streamlining all the toolbars and the sidebars, so it'll look fairly uniform across all major apps that you're using with your iPad. The next is going to be the watchOS. So the main takeaways I want to get from this are you can now share your watch faces with friends. There's now sleep tracking integrated, and there's also some new ways for you during your workouts to help you with your cool down and other things like that, as well as hand washing automatic detection. So what that will do is when you start washing your hands, it'll recognize that you're washing your hands, back it up with audio to make sure it's not just some random movement, and then have a countdown timer for 20 seconds. So that'll help you with your being sanitary and just overall hygiene. So the last big thing is macOS, and there are two very distinct things that make this interesting. So the first one is going to be a design overhaul. So it's actually going to look a lot more like the iPad and the iPhone, which is a very interesting move in my opinion, but I also think it's going to work out very well. Having a uniform language across all your devices will help kind of figure out where the toolbars are or different things that you need to access instead of having to kind of get used to two different operating systems. It's very similar to what Google has been doing with their Chrome OS and Chromebooks and bringing Android apps natively supported onto Chromebooks. And Windows is just kind of a uniform platform, so it's not a really great comparison there. It'll have the same widgets and everything you see from iPad and iOS, so that's pretty cool. Safari is their web browser. They talked a lot about how the improvements that they're making to security primarily, and then a little bit of performance enhancements as well, and some new things you'll be able to do with Safari. Now, the other big news that came out of macOS was the future of Macs. And so I won't get too lengthy into this, but basically they're going to be moving Mac to ARM-based processors. So for those that don't know, all MacBooks at this point run Intel chips. And this is going to be the transition over into running basically the same chip that you find in your iPad, And they even showcased some of the things that they did today with macOS were done with the iPad chip that's in the latest iPad Pro. It's amazing that that chip is as powerful as it is, and of course, it's only going to get better in time as they move it to a Mac based system. I don't think we're going to see the same chip in both devices. I think this is just the stepping stone to get ready for that next big leap that is going to be the new chip that'll be inside the Macs. So that's super cool. This is really interesting stuff. And that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about today. But I hope this video was informative. I just wanted something quick to kind of get back into the channel and just my quick overview and impressions of what I think most users would be interested in, and also what I personally think is the most interesting things that came out of today's event. Please like my video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys very soon. I have like 5+ videos in the pipelines. I just need to sit down and do them. But thank you for watching. I hope this was informative to y'all, and I'll catch y'all soon.